In case you haven't noticed yet, I'm too fat. But recently, I've been really feeling the effects of being too fat. So I went to the doctor, he did a full physical. I had high cholesterol, some high blood pressure, things that are consistent with being too fat. And in addition to diet and exercise, he immediately wanted to put me on a regimen of traditional pharmaceuticals. But I wasn't ready to accept that. So we've come out here to Merced, we've driven quite a while to see Dr. Lakisha, who mixes natural herbs with cannabis. And she says these customized concoctions can really help me with my ailments. It's time for me to start eating my own dog food and see if cannabis can really help my health.
I'm kind of here to find out how cannabis in combination with some other things could help me.
So I have some good news for you, Brandon. The fact that you have been a cannabis consumer for a good portion of your life, even though you didn't think it was medical, was helping you medically. Wow. Absolutely.
Cool.
We have an endocannabinoid system in our body, and the majority of the population suffers from an endocannabinoid system deficiency. Mm-hmm. People don't understand that, they don't realize that, there's no tests for measuring that. But considering the fact that we're hardwired to interact with the cannabis plant, and you're not uptaking cannabinoids on a regular basis unless you're a cannabis consumer, most people are suffering from an endocannabinoid system deficiency.
I can't wait to tell my mom.
This is probably one of the things that's actually helped with even maybe maintaining a consistent weight for you.
But how is that balanced by kind of like the munchies that can be associated with cannabis?
So it's that's probably why the weight gain is happening, because you're not identifying what it is that you eat. If you had munchies and you decided to partake in healthier snacks, weight gain wouldn't be a side effect of that. One of the herbs in the herbal kingdom, though, that helps really well with cholesterol and high blood pressure would be hawthorn berries. Hawthorn berries can dip your blood pressure pretty low.
Okay.
So you want to start low and slow with the hawthorn berries.
Got it.
Usually by taking just one hawthorn berry cap in the AM daily. Another thing that you might want to consider is using some MSM. What that does is it helps with the smooth muscles of the heart. It helps with circulation as well. Plays really well in combination with the hawthorn berries. For restlessness or having problems with sleep, I'd have to actually advise you to take one of our herbal blends that does have cannabis in it. It's called the Sleepy Time Blend. So that Sleepy Time Blend is really good for people with insomnia. It gives you about 4 to 6 hours of continuous sleep. That's what we found is around the general range there.
I have to say, it sounds great. It sounds like, you know, my body's gonna be in balance, I'm gonna sleep better, lower my cholesterol, but it's kind of big talk, right? I mean, I'm a little skeptical, I have to say. Like, I mean, why is this not more out there? Why is it people, if it works so well, why aren't more people doing it?
I think because people don't think that it can be that easy. That nutrition can honestly be half the battle, because it is. If you honestly give your body the vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids, the constituents that are required to sustain life, it can and will repair itself in a lot of instances, but we haven't been trained to think that way.
So I have a friend, he's a cannabis grower at a fairly good sized scale, and I was talking to him about sort of weight loss and what that could mean for my health and things that could help. And he said, I'm growing a new strain of cannabis that has THCV in it.
Yes.
Which can greatly suppress your hunger.
It can.
Or so he says.
Yes.
You agree?
I do agree. I absolutely and positively agree with that theory. So because we have an endocannabinoid system in our body and our brain produces cannabinoids naturally that mirror the chemical composition that are in the cannabinoids found in cannabis, THCV, a cannabinoid that's found in cannabis, I would surmise that there's something in our DNA, in our chemical makeup that speaks to that particular cannabinoid that suppresses hunger.
Given that you're in the cannabis industry, what do you tell your kids? You know, how do you have this conversation at home? You know, is cannabis now okay? You know, should they be trying cannabis? How do you have that conversation?
So this is the way that I have the conversation at home. There's no other area in life that you can do whatever you want without consequence. Your health is not an exception. Cannabis is medicine. Just like any other medicine, pharmaceutical, any of these herbs, if you use it outside of its intended use and environment, then there could be consequences to that.
I'm on a quest to see how cannabis can improve my health. We've come here to Ganja Yoga, where you combine the exercise and spiritual value of yoga with cannabis. And we're gonna find out if this is a way that I can work out and still get high at the same time. When producer Eric told me, I was like, I gotta try that because I hate exercising. But if I can exercise and get high at the same time, maybe it'll work. I'm a little nervous because I haven't done yoga in like over a year. And honestly, exercising cannabis is not something I normally would do. When I get high, I don't really want to stretch and like bend my body and sweat and breathe hard and stuff. But they say that this is a good idea, so we're gonna give it a try. They say that your health is made up about 90% of what you eat and 10% exercise. So I'm thinking if I could get that 10% while I'm still high, then it won't feel like 10% at all. Or maybe it'll feel a lot longer than 10% and it'll feel like 30% and then it's more like 70% what I eat. So I think that means I can eat more. Well, I can already tell this is just a great place to hang out. So I think exercise and health is partly about calorie burn and part just about kind of how good it is for the soul, just getting that blood moving and sort of the emotional benefit that you get from yoga plus cannabis. That's like double emotional benefit. We just got done and I feel all warm and tingly and awesome inside, like much different than if I had just smoked cannabis, without doing any yoga. The question that kind of came up in my mind was doing is like my balance was maybe a little different on cannabis. Do you find that? Does it affect your balance?
I think it does. Yeah, it does. And you could even say like an adverse or negative effect on balance. Like people find balance postures a lot harder when they're high on cannabis.
Yeah. Do you find that an indica or a sativa hybrid, what kind of cannabis, like edible smoking, is best for doing yoga?
I don't think I can prescribe any one thing for everyone. Like I would say, indica brings you into your body more generally. Everyone's so unique with their response to cannabis, but generally it tends to relax the body and help with becoming more embodied or more in touch with yourself, your body.
You're so kind of knowledgeable about the mixture, the crossroads here. Like, how did you get started? Why are you doing this? Why Ganja Yoga?
Why Ganja Yoga? Well, it just seemed like such a natural thing for me, like chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, but I didn't really become a cannabis consumer in a big way until my late 20s.
Okay.
By then I had been doing yoga for a decade sober. I had a bad trip when I was a teen, and every time I tried it after that, the PTSD was too strong, and I wasn't able to just use it. So,
how did you get reintroduced? Why did you start again?
I think in my late 20s, I had a more appropriate setting. Like I wasn't doing it at parties with teenage boys who were showing off with big amounts, and this kind of all hormones and uncertainty and jealousy boyfriends, the whole drama of teenhood.
Totally.
Versus in my late 20s in a hotel with my boyfriend, like totally comfortably, it's just like a totally different. And I remember being like, it's okay, like so nervous, like is this going to cause me a bad trip? Am I allergic? Why doesn't weed work for me? And then it's like, oh wait, no, this is good, and like sex is good, and yoga's good, and I had a decade behind me already, so I was like, oh no, this is good.
Yeah. After being diagnosed with high cholesterol and high blood pressure, I knew I had to make some changes. My first stop was Dr. Lakisha, where I learned natural herbs in combination with cannabis could really help my ailments and be much safer than traditional pharmaceuticals. Next, I went to Ganja Yoga to see if I could get my exercise while still getting high. In the end, I learned that it's all about moderation,
that exercise and eating right, and yes, a little bit of cannabis, can be healthy for you. But again, just a little bit of cannabis. Cannabis is now a part of our everyday life, but it's time to start making cannabis work for us. It's time to get infused.